Oh man, here we go again. The last video I made that basically was me replying to people's ridiculous takes and opinions about the Marvel Universe got a fair amount of attention. I even put little clips of it on TikTok and quite a few of them did well, but one of them in particular got over 100,000 views, like 26,000 likes, and it got me like 1,400 followers on TikTok itself. It also got me from around 395 subscribers on YouTube to about 424 as of recording this video, so I do greatly appreciate the support. But clearly there is a hunger for content like this, someone that doesn't really complain about anything and everything that they see that the Marvel Universe does, but rather someone that goes against the grain and fights back against some of these nonsensical opinions. So that's what we're going to do again today. Now last time I was a little aggressive, unhinged if you will, so today I'm going to do my best and remain as calm as possible. As calm as I can be, at least. Some of these clips are going to be a little bit shorter than the ones I did in my last video, so that maybe my points aren't quite as long-winded as they were. But let's just start off nice and easy and give some just nice little constructive criticism to some of these TikTok creators, and then we'll get more serious as the video goes on, right? Alright, let's do this.
I Am Groot came out, and this show is a complete waste of time.
No, not this dude again, please.
There are 5 episodes, they are 3 minutes each. This show takes place right after Guardians of the Galaxy 1, and this is just a complete waste of money by Marvel showing this character. It was a waste of time. It gave us nothing.
First of all, these are not episodes. These are shorts. Or, you know, like Pixar shorts. Second of all, the people who got absolutely nothing out of these are the people who expected to get something out of Groot's shorts. Shorts about Baby Groot. So that's kind of on you for misunderstanding the content that Marvel's putting out. And you can't tell me you got nothing out of these. Absolutely nothing. Not even entertainment. A little giggle here and there. Me and my brother watched all of them back to back as soon as they came out, and we thought they were great. We even ranked them. Groot is the perfect character to do shorts about that's more emphasized with physical comedy. Just, it does that super well.
Nothing whatsoever. This is why the MCU is in shambles, and it's going to continue to be in shambles. There's nothing great about this show.
You need to find a way to make you smile, my friend. You seem angry all the time. I think you should just stop watching Marvel content, honestly. It seems to be bittering your life ever so slightly, and you're just chipping away at your life expectancy. Also, did my comment about your beard make you a little self-conscious in the last video?
Which means that we can drink so much and not get drunk.
You can't be serious.
You can't be serious over here with that chin strap beard you got growing. I mean, to be fair, it's more than I can grow, but whatever, because I can see you're hiding it behind the little text there.
Hey Doc, this is why I hate She-Hulk. The Hulk's not just a bit nerfed. He should have stopped that car in its tracks. Disney is wrong for this.
Oh my god, really? Really? I don't know who's the bigger baby in this video, to be honest. Do you remember when Hulk yeeted that rock into space like he was chucking a baseball to his son back on Sakaar? Do you remember that? If he wanted to stop the Jeep, he would have. He didn't want to crush the Jeep. He didn't want to aggressively stop his cousin. If he wanted to, he would have. Man, people will find pretty much anything to complain about. And I have a revolutionary idea. You hear me out. This will change how you see the MCU forever. If you don't like it, don't watch it. What? And if you're scared that you're going to miss something from not watching it, there are a million YouTube channels and articles on the internet literally all over the place that will tell you everything that you need to see in that show moving forward. So just do that instead.
Is She-Hulk too political or too sexist?
Literally neither. It's neither sexist or political unless you really try to stretch what the narrative is actually trying to say to fit something that you want it to say.
Some people think that it paints men in a negative light.
It doesn't.
I'm honestly over here just like, why does every Marvel show and movie have to have political themes?
You see, it doesn't matter if it has a political theme or not. People are going to basically make it political and blow it up way out of proportion, kind of like they did with She-Hulk.
Remember when comic book movies were just about fun? The first Avengers film, literally no political themes. It was just about good guys beat bad guys.
Remember when I said you can make anything political if you really try hard enough and just push it in there? First Avengers movie, the government would rather nuke the entirety of New York City, killing millions of people without really trying to take the hard way out and fight the battle in New York, because that would be harder. The government is quick to kind of just throw away people and not care because civilians are expendable and replaceable and unimportant to the grand scheme of things. Kind of reflects how America handled the whole COVID outbreak in the first place.
Avengers Age of Ultron. Good guys beat robot.
Age of Ultron. It was people in power creating something that they thought was going to be the solution to a problem, but then realizing not long after that it was more of a threat rather than a solution to a problem that they don't have quite yet. Kind of how modern society keeps expanding these factories and industries bigger and bigger and not really doing anything to kind of fight the climate change threat that's just over the horizon. See, you can really pull anything and make it political, but you just gotta get into that mindset, and I stay away from that mindset.
Stop trying to force feed us political agendas.
I found nothing political about She-Hulk. I don't care about representation and diversity. I care about a good movie or a good show. If it happens to feature an all-women cast or an all-black cast or, emphasizes Pakistani culture, then that's good for them. There's nothing political about it unless you make it political. Unless it's something that's super obviously political like The Boys, but sometimes the lack of subtlety is a really good thing, especially in that show.
Whether or not you agree with it, it doesn't matter. I think that we can all agree that we would rather just get fun projects again from both Marvel and DC.
These aren't fun projects. Everything I've seen from She-Hulk so far has been pretty fun. Same with Thor Love and Thunder or Multiverse of Madness or Moon Knight or Hawkeye. They might have some problems with the writing, but they're at least fun shows and movies to watch.
Stop trying to force these agendas down our throat. White privilege, sexism. Believe it or not, most people go see a Marvel movie in theaters or on Disney Plus for a good time.
The people who think that political ideas and agendas are being shoved down their throat in these movies and shows are not going to go see them to have a good time. It has become a trend to hate everything and anything that Marvel puts out. Someone will find anything to complain about, and it's just going to blow up on social media. And then everybody's going to cling to that idea like they're part of some special group. Cinema and even comic books reflect society at the time that it's written. So when gay people, or black people, or different cultures in general, or women kind of have the spotlight for a minute and give insight on what they do to experience society, it's just reflective of what is actually happening in society. Gay character pops up. Everyone thinks it's some political agenda. Okay, maybe it is. Maybe it is. I'll give you that. But just judge it by the writing and see how it goes from there. You might not believe this. Hold on. But gay people exist. What? Yes. They walk among us. So some of them appearing in the comic books and comic fans getting mad about it, it gives me the same sort of vibe as if you went to like a coffee shop, like a Starbucks, and there's a Middle Eastern dude behind the counter, and someone's just like demanding that there's a new cashier because that guy's a terrorist. Like, what? If they make a straight character gay for no reason, all right, I'm with you. You can get mad about that because then that's pushing it. But if a new character comes along and they're gay or they're black or they're a woman, stop preaching about it being politics when it's just who they are as a character.
Oh, Jesus!
Have no fear, Spider-Man is here.
Oh my God, what is that monstrosity?
What happened?
I was bitten by a regular spider.
Do you have any powers or anything?
I have the power of minutes left to live.
There are only two ways for Spider-Man to look like this, right? One, that dude from 300, I don't remember his name, but that dude from 300, if you've seen the movie, you know who I'm talking about. If he got bit by a radioactive spider, this is kind of what you would get. Or two, if Richard and Mary Parker happened to be from Alabama and shared last names before they had a kid named Peter Parker. That's all I'm saying.
Why is everybody so upset with She-Hulk episode 1?
Because the show is poorly written. At the very least, it has a lot of flaws. And I feel like you know that. In fact, I feel like a lot of the critics of people who don't like the show actually know this. They're just choosing to ignore it.
So what you're saying is people like me, who are criticizing people who are just hating on the show, actually don't like the show and I'm just choosing to ignore it? What? If you genuinely do not like the show because of the writing or the pacing or just the character of She-Hulk or the tone of the show, then sure, you do you. But if your reasoning for hating the show is because they're basically putting all the women characters in the forefront and it's some political agenda because they're making all the men look bad and it's bad writing because all the men are stupid, yada yada, then I have all rights to criticize that. Oh, and I still enjoy the show.
I'm inclined to believe that those people who are review bombing are actually doing it with a grain of truth. Like, they're not just being trolls. Most of the time they have, even if ham-fisted, some pretty valid points.
Hold on. People review bombing a show before the show airs is doing it with a hint of truth and not just trolling? How can you rate a show a 1 before it releases? Anyone? The trailer? Is that what you're review bombing? The trailer? Remember Suicide Squad? Looked pretty good from the trailer. After it released, we learned that DC stands for donkey crap because that's pretty much what the movie was. Now imagine reviewing it based off the trailer and giving it a 9. I'm willing to bet money your number would be significantly lower after that released.
The show is way too focused on trying to humiliate OG characters in order to lift the new character up.
Where was Hulk humiliated to lift her up? Where? He's the mentor figure, so by default, she's beneath him. He's much stronger than her, he's much smarter than her, so where is he being humiliated?
This is often a hallmark of bad writing skills. The writers are so fucking scared of the character having any flaws that they neglect any real chances at actual meaningful character growth. A character can't grow if they're already fucking perfect.
Nope, not necessarily. Characters do not need to have flaws to have growth. Captain America basically remained the exact same through his entire run through the MCU until the very end where he did something selfish for once and lived his own life. What's Superman's flaw? Not wanting to kill people? Huh? Believing that everyone deserves a second chance? Or Ip Man from the Ip Man movies, where's his flaw? Characters do not need flaws to grow and have interesting stories. You just have to present them with problems around them or to them personally that they have to work through and solve that are not particularly easy. Characters not having flaws does not mean they handle every hard situation with ease. That's not the same thing.
Plus the constant catty quips reflecting a pathological need to be better and more experienced and faster and more intelligent than the Hulk and Bruce Banner in every way was just cringe as fuck.
So you're telling me if you put two relatives next to each other, there would not be an ounce of banter or competitive attitudes towards one another? None. Me and my brother literally race to one-up each other at every chance we get. If we're in a game on the same team and we just have to go to the same NPC and talk to them, I will use everything I can to prevent him from getting there before I do. Every ability, every shortcut, every item, I will even slap his computer to make sure he doesn't get there before me. It's just an unspoken rule. None of us has said it, but he does the same thing. He just wants to get there first. And belittling each other is also part of being a relative, or even just really good friends. When my brother learned that I have ADHD and ASD, he basically called me brain damage every day since. When I learned that he had arthritis on his spine at the age of 21, I make fun of the fact that he has an old man back because he can't touch his toes without getting a cramp. We talk to each other like this, but when it comes down to it, I love and respect that dude more than just about anybody on the planet. But I guess we're both just cringy and just have bad writing that plagues our lives. I don't know.
This is really an objectively poorly written show. You can like it if you want to, though. I'm not here to take that from you.
I like the writing of the show, which means it's not objectively a badly written show. Because objectively bad means it's regardless of people's opinions, and you can't do that about a show and the writing of a show, because that's subjective. The only way for it to be objectively bad is if it was having like grammatical errors. Like instead of She-Hulk saying this,
"So I'm an expert at controlling my anger because I do it infinitely more than you,"
she said something like this. I'm anger and at infinitely it my do I than you expert because more controlling. I could barely say that. That's objectively bad writing.
Spoilers upcoming. Guys, Iron Man died for this. Iron Man laid his life on the line. He died for this. This is where the MCU has gone.
Iron Man isn't Jesus. He didn't die for the sins of the rest of the Marvel Universe. He basically just died so that they can come back and live their lives and have the opportunity that they deserved. There are people who came back after Endgame and immediately returned to their life of
I know some of you are going to think that I'm being a little crazy on this one. I don't like this. I don't want to see this.
God, I don't like it.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
I don't care about any of this. What is this? Come on, are we really having Megan Thee Stallion twerking with She-Hulk? Is that really how we're going to be ending these shows? Like, what kind of comical joke is this that they're playing on the audience?
Star-Lord danced, Groot danced, Iron Man danced, I'm pretty sure, or was that a blooper? I don't remember. Zemo danced. But those are all funny, right? This one's the only one that's cringe and bad. All I hear is you crying about a show that you voluntarily chose to watch. If you don't like it, then turn it off. What? That's yeah, you can do that. It's not about you. It's not about what Iron Man died for. It's about entertainment. I know very little about this chick, but I found it incredibly entertaining. Episode 3 in particular was hilarious. People are getting way too into these shows and movies because as soon as something is played for a laugh, they just get super serious and dark about it and then they just hate on it and cry. If the joke didn't land for you, move on. If the show doesn't work for you, move on. If the MCU is not headed in a direction that you like, move on. If you can't loosen up and laugh a little bit while watching these fictional characters in a fictional show about a fictional universe, then you guessed it, you should move on.
It just seems like we're at the point in the MCU where everything is being taken for a cheap joke or a cheap bit.
Yeah, everything's becoming a cheap joke, right? Like how Peter, was affected by May's death and how that really affected his mental state. Or how about Doctor Strange telling Christine that he loves her in every universe but can't be with her regardless of that fact. Or, even better, the emotional trauma that Mark Spector went through after losing his brother and being blamed from his mom and abused by his mom after the fact, which caused his personalities to split. That was all taken for a joke, yeah? Or even how Wen Wu was tricked to believing the person that he loves more than anything in this whole world was still alive. just a joke? Emotional moments still happen. But She-Hulk, this whole show is a comedy show. You're supposed to take it lightheartedly and as just like a fun time.
He loves the character and he wants to do him justice. But he can't even bother to look or sound different than any other movie he's in. Once again, he's just bald. Why? You're bald in every other movie over the past 15 years. You couldn't put on a wig and try to look like Black Adam?
The Rock is actually very passionate about this character, but you're gonna tell me that if you put a wig on The Rock, that would have made it infinitely better? I'm sorry, but that haircut on The Rock would look pretty stupid, so I actually applaud the change.
Not only is your representation of the character looking like shit, but you couldn't even be bothered to do the simple little things to at least look and sound like him. You just wanted to show up to set and play The Rock.
How about this? You might want to take a seat for this one. Hold on. How about you wait until the movie comes out, and then you can see and judge how he plays the character. What?
Like in every other movie where you just play The Rock. And now, all I will see is The Rock because you look like The Rock in cosplay.
Of course it looks like The Rock in cosplay. That's pretty much what it would have looked like regardless. Chris Evans as Captain America looks like Chris Evans dressed as Captain America. Same as Robert Downey Jr. Same as Black Widow with Scarlett Johansson. Same for Hawkeye. Even Zoe Saldana, is that her name? Zoe Saldana? She looks like a green Zoe Saldana as Gamora. Where's the issue? Have you even seen The Rock in several different movies over the last, 5 to 8 years? Because you can't tell me that Fast 5 Rock is the same as Jumanji Rock, which is the same as Central Intelligence Rock. It's not. He doesn't have a ginormous range like Leonardo DiCaprio or maybe Oscar Isaac, but his range isn't as small as Kevin Hart, who plays Kevin Hart in every film.
Because you look like The Rock in cosplay.
You know, it's kind of ironic that I ran into that video after I just read this article. Dwayne Johnson fought to keep Black Adam out of Shazam.
I think it's actually a good idea for him to not be part of Shazam and just kind of shove him in there for no good reason and give him his own solo film. Black Adam is an even lesser known character than Shazam, so to give him that sort of proper backstory, he needs the screen time.
The so-called disservice to the character is just him not wanting to share the spotlight with Shazam.
It would absolutely be a disservice to the character. What happened to DC fans? Has Warner Brothers just crushed your spirits? Remember how the Justice League movie came out and people complained that Cyborg and Flash didn't have their own movie and didn't have any really sort of fleshed out backstory? People complained about that, and rightfully so. Now they want to take the time to flesh out his character a little bit more with his own movie, and people are flipping their lid about it. Just pick a lane.
Now, I want to sit here and act shocked, but to be honest, just like in that video I just stitched, The Rock always just wants to play The Rock, so it was always going to happen this way. But I do feel bad for all those Shazam and Black Adam fans. How y'all feeling about this? Because for me, I'd be pissed.
Couldn't tell at all. You look super chill. How about we judge the movie after it comes out? And while we wait, you can watch a couple of The Rock's movies that I mentioned previously because he does not play the exact same character in every single film.
Someone's asking thoughts on Thor: Love and Thunder. That movie is fucking terrible. And anyone who tells you it's good, go to anyone in your life. If they told you that was a good movie, you are in luck. Because you never have to ask that person their opinion on movies ever again.
Oh, so you don't want to ask somebody their opinion because it's different than the one you asked them about before? That's pretty narrow-minded. Thor: Love and Thunder was not a bad movie. Was not a terrible movie. Was it a cinematic masterpiece? No, it had some issues, but it was fun.
That movie is fucking terrible. It's not good. There's some good things about it, Christian Bale being the best, but that movie sucks. It's terrible. They turned Thor into some goofball idiot. You can do that a little bit. It's not good.
It had a lot of fun elements, and it's just kind of easy to go along with the ride that the movie's providing for you. Sure, some of the writing is a little wacky, and some of the jokes either don't land or they stick around a little too long, but that doesn't mean it's an all-around bad film. It's even funnier that most of his comments are either mocking him or disagreeing with him. They get it. For this next video, I could not find the original version, so we're gonna have to settle for somebody else's version.
If you really want to prove to black people that you love us and you care about us and you are down for the cause.
Whoa, hold on there, Girl Scout. I do not love and care about everyone by default. There's people I know in real life that I couldn't give two hoots about. It depends on what kind of person you are to determine how I feel about your character and how much love and care I have for you. If you pour the milk before the cereal, you can just walk.
Do not go see that movie opening weekend.
I go see every Marvel movie opening weekend. I don't care.
You buy your ticket, you give it to a black person or a black family who can't afford to go.
Why would I buy a ticket to the movies and not go see the movie? Have you seen these prices? I can barely afford to go watch them. What makes them so special? You want me to buy a ticket for the movie that I'm not going to be watching and just stand outside that hopefully there's just some random black family out there just looking for handouts? What?
And then you go sit at that theater in front of the doors.
I don't know who you think I am, but I'm not big or strong enough to be like the bouncer of the movie theater. I could probably be the bouncer for like a bouncy castle, barely.
You make sure that every black person in that theater can enjoy that movie in peace. You make sure that you use your body to block us from anybody who would be coming in that theater to do us harm.
Why would anyone want to harm you while you're watching a superhero movie? Why? I am not going to see Wakanda Forever on opening night to show my support to the black community, and don't take that the wrong way. This is the part that you need to hear the most. Listen to this. I'm going to see the movie on opening night because I don't give an ounce of thought to the skin tone of the person that is playing the characters in the movie I'm going to see. I'm showing my support for black people and black characters in cinema by not seeing them first and foremost as black people. If I see a black person as an actor and it looks like an interesting movie, I go see the movie. I don't care if it's white, black, Asian, Indian, Hispanic, gay, men, women, I don't care. If it looks good, I'm gonna go see it. And if you're the person who continues to see people as their skin tone first, you are the reason that racism is still alive. Capiche? So I will be going to see Wakanda Forever on opening weekend like I do for every other Marvel film, and I will be wearing my Black Panther socks because I always match to the film that I go to because I'm a loser.
I could say a lot more about why they put this at number 1, but I'll hold my tongue.
But I won't. Let's talk about the fact that it's the first MCU solo movie to make $1.3 billion in the box office, no cameos.
And Iron Man 3 made $1.2 billion in box office, but that doesn't make it a good movie. I mean, I like it, but most Marvel fans look down upon that film.
Held a record for biggest opening day, not just in February, but in general, for a superhero solo film.
Yeah, it was a solo film for a character that was introduced in a much better film because to this day, I still preach that T'Challa had a much better character arc in Civil War than he did in his own movie.
It might be the fact that it was Marvel's first movie being nominated for an Oscar. Best Picture? But that's just a nomination. But then again, it could also be the fact that it won 3 Oscars. Costume design, production design, original score. But I mean, those are just Marvel's first 3 Oscars. And only.
Let's pretend for a second that award shows are even really that relevant and kind of, reflect the opinions of modern society. But yeah, it won in, costume design, production design, and original score, which are all great things for Marvel and that movie. But those are only just pieces of what it takes to make a great film. And where Black Panther kind of lacks is a little bit in visual effects, but mostly in the writing. The last fight in that movie alone should probably just disqualify Marvel for any sort of visual effects awards for this movie, because the CGI is a little weird.
But I'm sure the reason you're looking for is that it's an all-black film and they don't want to get in trouble for being controversial. Maybe check the food before you serve it, cause it tastes like shit.
My god, what a goofball. I kind of like her. In like a little sister, like an annoying little sister kind of way. Just to prove a point, let's look at the rest of this list and just kind of determine why Black Panther is incredibly overplaced on it. You've already failed. The writing in Spider-Man 2 alone will blow Black Panther out of the water, no contest. You can't tell me that it's a better story than Logan. No, absolutely not. Infinity War is 16th, but Ragnarok is in 8th? What? The Crow beat out Shang-Chi and the Suicide Squad and the Batman? You see, you can say whatever you want about Black Panther being placed first and whatever the reasons are in your mind. Whether it was about, looking good as far as like representation, or the fact that it was just like out of respect for Chadwick Boseman's death, or maybe even that Wakanda Forever is coming out this year and they just kind of wanted to put it at the top of the list to kind of like be in with that audience. The entire list is pretty garbage. The entire list. I don't care about what reasonings you have for Black Panther being first. There are easily 10 to 15 movies that I can name off the top of my head that are better than Black Panther. Easily.
So when I said Fragile Men were not going to like She-Hulk, it's funny how Fragile Men popped up to say they're not fragile.
You are quite literally proving the point of why these men are mad.
Yep, they're mad because they're fragile men.
But that's just the problem. A lot of these feminist shows center around diminishing men to make the women characters stand out.
Oh god, here we go again.
Just in the first episode alone, all the men portrayed so far are being shown as lesser than their female counterparts.
That is not the case. But even if it was, so what? The vast majority of shows and sitcoms growing up that we watched all had stupid fathers and fairly level-headed mothers. My Wife and Kids, Malcolm in the Middle, The Simpsons, Family Guy, freaking Jimmy Neutron, Danny Phantom. There are an infinite number of shows that follow the same trope as the mom being somewhat level-headed or even maybe just as stupid as the dad, but the dad has to be stupid to make the mom stupid because you can't have a stupid mom and a not stupid dad because then there would be problems. But there are an infinite number of shows that have a stupid dad and a fairly level-headed mom and nobody bats their eyes. But heaven forbid you have something super subtle like not listening to a man's opinion and oh my god, it's an outrage. Ugh, the feminists are taking over everything. They're ruining it.
And I don't know any show or series where people have been happy that the group representing them are bumbling idiots. It's funny how we go out of our way nowadays to not represent different races incorrectly and to just make sure that everyone is represented in good light. But time and time again in these series, the only way for women to be uplifted is to make men look idiotic or weak or just stupid. These men are mad because they're being portrayed in a bad light. That's literally all there is to it. And if you don't understand that, I don't know what to tell you.
Actually, what's idiotic is believing that if you fall under the same umbrella as someone on TV, like being a man, and that man is portrayed as stupid, then automatically by default they're portraying men and you as stupid. That's idiotic. He's a man and he's stupid. Does that mean I'm stupid? Oh god, do people think I'm stupid? Should I buy some smart water to kind of like balance out the brain cells I'm missing? Smart water replenishes brain cells, right? That's why it's called smart water. I have literally never seen a guy portrayed so badly or so idiotic on a show that I feel like my character is being judged as a man from other people that are watching the show. Ever. It's like people think that the world is going to watch She-Hulk and they don't listen to some dude's opinion and how all the men are, below them or whatever they're trying to preach. I don't even know. But they're going to basically look at that and automatically assume that all men are not worth the air that they breathe. So either way you slice it, the only people who are bothered by this is fragile men. You either hate women that are strong characters and leading their own show, or you feel like your identity is being threatened because there's a man on TV who's being portrayed as an idiot and that means that you by default are being portrayed as an idiot. What? It's not that deep, dude. Let's not pretend that we weren't raised on the idea of men in media being portrayed as idiots because I can name a dozen off the top of my head. Your character is not being judged by the characters of the men in She-Hulk. I promise. And there we have it. I'm going to bring this video to a close because honestly, my brain is starting to hurt. I feel like I did pretty good in this video. I feel like I remained calm, I was less aggressive, and I just spoke nothing but facts the entire time. Follow me on TikTok and add me in some of the comments of the videos that you might want me to see, and maybe it'll make it to the next one of these videos. Comment down below your thoughts on some of the responses I made, or maybe just the videos in general, and maybe just shed some new light on something that I maybe not have thought of. Leave a sub to show some love, and whether you want to or not, have a marvelous day. Peace!